Today we're going to talk about the reasons communism will never work. What is communism? Communism is an economic and social system where all the means of production are publicly owned and operated through central planning. The society will be classless, with resources allocated through what some may call a fair principle, from each according to his ability to each according to his need. Let's take a market economy like Germany's, for example. In Germany, most of the businesses are privately owned. Their incentive for providing goods or services is the profit they can make from selling these goods or services on markets. Communism would change this. The businesses would be taken over by the central government, and all the revenues they collect would hopefully be distributed by the government to the citizens equally. The rationale for this is that the greedy capitalists who own the businesses are rewarded disproportionately to the amount of work that they put in. So, the government must seize control of production to ensure the wealth of society is distributed in the fairest way, equally. To somebody with a big heart and little knowledge of history, this idea might sound great. However, when this ideology was allowed to play out in the 20th century, the results were horrific, often leading to mass murder, famine, and slave-based civilizations. Estimates of deaths due to communist regimes are in the hundreds of millions and range in the tens of millions. The clear conclusion from the communist experiment: communism does not work and the ideology should be rejected. Here are 5 reasons why communism will never work. Reason 1. State inefficiency due to lack of information. A centrally planned economy is always doomed to fail because they simply don't know what people want. Just think about it for a second. If the government of your country decided to dictate the level of production for all goods, do you think they would get it right? Surely not. Nobody has enough information and nobody is in your head, so how could they possibly know what you want? I personally want to keep Theresa May out of my shopping bag. We saw this issue in the Soviet Union during the 20th century. They invested so much of their resources into the space race and developing new weapons that the general public grew tired of their lack of consumer goods, especially when comparing themselves to the West. This neglect of consumers played no small part in the fall of the Soviet Union. Reason 2. The absolute power of government. This is a big one. I hear so many people who think they're communists screaming about how corrupt the government is and all the terrible things the government is capable of, which I actually agree with to an extent. But then they make the jump from how terrible and corrupt the government is to handing over complete control of the economy to the very same corrupt government. Is it just me, or if the government tends to tilt towards corruption due to government officials pursuing their self-interest? Isn't it the correct response to keep as much power out of the government's hands as possible? If you think the government always has the people's interests at heart, here is a list of atrocities committed by communist governments. The Bulgarian forced labour camps from 1944 to 1989. The Gulag camps of the Soviet Union during the 20th century. These camps killed around 1.6 million people. Many of these people were just killed for having a little bit of money. The Cambodian genocide carried out by Pol Pot's government. And then just look at North Korea. It may even be the case that the dictatorship supporting communism has all of the intentions to make communism work, but they can still turn murderous if their incentive, as George Orwell suggested, is not a love for the poor, but instead a hatred for the rich. We saw this play out in the killings of the more profitable farmers in the Soviet Union. Reason 3. It fails to take account of human nature. It is sad to say, but humans are self-interested creatures and will work very hard and do a lot of things they do not want to do to earn money. Perhaps the more important point is people will work hard to earn more money than other people. This want to earn more than others, of course, has a cultural element to it. Its roots are deeply biological. We are all born with chemical systems in our brain that give us the desire to move higher in the social hierarchy. This deep-rooted nature means that a system that rewards all people equally for their work will lead to lower productivity, massive shortages of skills in the labour force, and may result in the need to create a slave nation to keep up production. We saw this play out in communist China under Mao. Reason 4. A lack of competition. Due to all production being under the control of the state, there is no competing firms. So there is a lack of incentive to be productive, because nobody's going to come and do it better than you. This can be seen in customer service, quality of goods, but in the longer term, it can be seen in the creation of new technologies. For example, the phone that you're watching this on, or even the internet needed to stream this video. Imagine your whole life being as inefficient as a trip to the DMV, and you can't even watch YouTube to pass the time as you queue. Reason 5. Communism is immoral. Away from the technical aspects of whether the system would actually work, which history has shown it will not, let us look at the morality of a system with no inequality. For sure, inequality is an issue in society. When inequality gets too high, murder increases, mental health increases, general crime levels increase, and many other social ills increase. High levels of inequality lead to the fabric of society breaking down. But inequality itself, I would argue, is a moral good. It gives us something to strive for in life. And yes, in Western society there is a high level of social mobility, so people can get from being poor to being rich. But what about the people who don't care about being rich and would rather enjoy their evenings with their friends? Since when is money the most important thing in life? Why do we use only income as the factor which should be equalised? With freedom will come inequality. So not only is inequality necessary to have a productive economy, it is justified by the freedom that it allows. Thank you for watching this video. Did you enjoy this video? Do you disagree with anything we had to say? Do you just want to complain and trigger some people? No matter what you have to say, we want to hear. So leave a comment below. And if you're a great human being, hit that like button and subscribe for more 5 Reasons Why videos. Have a great day.